to either deny the petition to establish the Contra County School of Performing Arts, a petition, and to adopt resolution number 8-14/15 reflecting denial of the petition and related factual findings, or declare the intent to approve the petition and specify any conditions necessary for approval. The board will consider taking action to either deny the petition to establish the Contra Costa School of Performing Arts and to adopt resolution okay, this is more or less the same as I've read before, and related back to the findings, but it does change this, or to declare the intent to approve the petition and specify any conditions that must be met for approval. It's to approve, but it's for approval. Okay, this is a discussion. Excuse me. Thank you. This is a discussion and roll call vote.
Yes.
Board members?
Mr. Chair, in reference, just for the information purposes, in reference to Ed Code 47605, and I quote, in the case of a countywide charter school petition, the county board has the discretion to deny a petition on any other basis that the board finds justified the denial of the petition. I want to clarify, I made reference to that earlier, but I want to give the exact Ed Code reference.
Okay.
That number is 47605, just for the record.
Okay. Do you have any comments to make on whether we should?
Oh yes. Oh, we're ready to start. Yeah, definitely. I applaud Mr. McChesney. I love performing arts. I really do. I love performing arts, but I just think that the proposal came just too premature. I think if they had done their homework, and presented a solid petition, then perhaps I would have a much different view. But at this time, I cannot, especially in light of a need, the burden of need in terms I still feel upon the petitioners has not been met. In addition to the transportation issue, the logistic issue, the issues of enrollment, and I mean, there's so many of it. There's about 15 different issues that I feel that I just hadn't been satisfied. I'm not satisfied that it's in the best interest of the public, which we're here for, especially the students on a countywide basis. Now, perhaps if this would have been a charter for Clayton Valley or different school, Mount Diablo or something of that nature, in a different story. But for countywide, I don't think that at this time I cannot support this, and I just cannot support the desire and the wishes of Mrs. McChesney and his group. Although I know the intent is often great, but in the words of Peter Trecker, if you can't measure it, you cannot manage it, period. So I'll ask this time any other further discussion.
Mr. Maxwell?
You know, I would echo some of the thoughts of Mr. Bell and just say I'm also in favor of a performing arts school. I'm in favor of the performing arts. I am in favor of a performing arts school, but I don't believe in this fashion, the way it's presented now, and the high volume of folks that are against the school. It just doesn't make sense in this format.
Mrs. Margot?
I also agree with my colleagues. I think staff has defined it very well, that the actual charter that we're looking at now is not ready to go. And maybe another time, another day, but the way the charter is written right now, it has all these holes in it that also, I agree with staff. You know, we are really looking at petitions in code, it said this was one of the other legal standards, outside the codes. And, in reviewing petitions for the establishment of charter schools within the county Board of Education shall give preference to petitions that demonstrate a capacity to provide comprehensive learning experiences to students identified by the petitioners as academically low achieving. And, you know, there's so many questions about the, I brought it up before, about the audition process. And I know that you have sent us a copy of what you would like to talk about in an MOU, but at this point, there are so many things to cover at this point. I'm just focusing on what you wrote and why it is not acceptable tonight.
Christine?
I think that there are several issues that need addressing, but looking very carefully at all of them, I think they can be addressed, particularly in the amount of time if we write an MOU for starting in September 2016, sorry. I'm a little concerned still about the selection process, and I think that that wording needs to be much clearer. And I certainly could not okay the charter without an MOU, and if my colleagues are unwilling to discuss an MOU, then I have a problem. I would have agreed to the charter acceptance with an MOU of the things that have been discussed tonight.
Well, you know, I think a fundamental precept of business is that define the need and fill it. Okay, here I think a need was developed and very astutely by a clever group of people, and I say clever, not in a derogatory sense, but clever in that they were able to develop arguments that might make a charter school of this type feasible at this time. But what is the need? Well, I feel that we don't have a need for this. The need, whatever there is of it, is adequately filled by what the programs that exist in the various districts. All 18 of them. They have one program or another. And as was indicated at the last time we met, the school superintendent said that she would be agreeable